Okay, hello everybody! Hi, my name is Mike. Guys, welcome to the very first installment of our Conservation Theater Storytelling Showcase. Yeah! Exciting. I want to bring out the creator and our host for this evening, and she's going to tell our first story of the night. So please give a big round of applause for Miss Bricken Sparacino!
Thank you guys for coming. It's nice to see everybody. So, I went to the Amazon this summer. I got to go because I'm part of a master's program that is run through Miami University of Ohio and Dragonfly and the WCS. And it's very exciting. We learn all sorts of cool things about conservation and science. And if we're lucky, we get to pick one Earth expedition to go on. I selected the Amazon in Peru. I picked the Amazon because I wanted to be immersed in the rainforest. I wanted to see all that famous biodiversity, and I wanted to work with like-minded students. I was not disappointed. I was looking for an adventure. Since I've been back, I have started so many stories with the phrase, so, when I was in the Amazon, I've probably driven my coworkers crazy with that phrase. So when I was in the Amazon, I remember when a mosquito bit me right between the eyes. I remember what it was like to live without power almost the entire time and those ice-cold showers every day. But there was this one moment. It was that moment of adventure that I was waiting for. So, when I was in the Amazon, I went on a night hike. But to get there, I had to get on a plane in New York City and fly all the way to Lima in an overnight flight. And I landed in Puerto Maldonado, which you had to get to on a little plane that you had to go, and that plane stopped at another town. Anyway, we got there. It was too late to get to where we were going, so you had to have a hotel. And then you woke up at the crack of dawn, you got in a van, and that van took us to a boat. We got on that boat, and just a second about the boat. So the boat is small. It fits probably 10 people comfortably. There were 22 of us. The 22 of us gathered into the boat. Oh, and it had a motor that was like one of those little blender things. That little blender took off, and off we went to our camp, which was an hour and a half or so down the river. Oh, when we got there, there was a walk from the river into where we actually stayed. That walk was about 10 minutes. Phew. Oh, and I dressed like this every day. You couldn't have a bit of your skin showing or you would get bitten. And there was the mud and the snakes. So I dressed like this every day. That first walk that we took from the boat to our little enclosure area took about a half hour the first time. We saw so many animals just on that 10-minute walk. We were so excited. There were 4 or 5 different species of birds that were native to that specific area of the Peruvian rainforest. We saw this species of ant that protects its home tree by dropping down on passerbyers and biting them. We saw a sloth just hanging out for everybody to see in just that first walk. We were exhausted. Our mouths were slack and our binocular muscles were sore from going like this for a half hour. This was the jungle. Now I know, you're not supposed to call it the jungle. We call it the rainforest. I understand that. But, oh boy, being there, you just started to use the word jungle all over again. When I was a kid, I loved the Disney movie, The Jungle Book, where the animals raised that boy and they all sang and the monkeys sang and danced, and I wanted to live in that jungle. And I was falling asleep that night. I listened to the cicadas. It felt like the jungle to me. Maybe the monkeys don't sing, but the birds and the insects sure did. Oh, back to the night hike, right? So wait, but let me just do one side. Okay, so we had this really cool classroom. It was your sort of typical tropical bungalow with the thatched roof. And one side was where we ate lunch, and the other side was where we had class. And we would circle our chairs and think deep thoughts, share things for hours. And we were having a deep discussion about human footprint. And I was sort of gazing off past the young lady who was talking to the rainforest. The cool thing about this classroom is the windows are open except for a little mosquito hole. And I'm just looking out, I'm totally listening and looking out, and I saw bird! Bird! And everybody, oh, bird! And we all leap out of our chairs and we run over to look at the bird. And there's this beautiful bird with a long tail. And in its mouth is a green tree frog. And it is beating the heck out of the tree frog on the side of the tree. Just whack, whack, whack. And our teacher, she's a bird expert, she goes, oh, this is a wood creeper. This kind of bird is not supposed to eat amphibians. Is this new science? We all go crazy. And we watched the wood creeper and it just thwack the amphibian like crazy. It started to look like jello. Thwack, thwack. And then littler wood creepers come over and they're begging the bigger bird for little pieces of the frog. And so the bird is pulling off little pieces of the frog and feeding it to its friends. And it was wonderful. It took about 5 minutes and then the frog was gone. And we looked it up later, and indeed, wood creepers eat insects and occasionally fruit. Did we see evolution happening? Back to the moment of adventure I was meaning to talk about. Right, the night hike. So, on day 4, we went on a night hike. It was optional, and only about 5 of us had the energy to go. Everybody else sort of tuckered out and went to bed. We went out into the dark, and we put our headlamps on. We walked, and we saw incredible things. We saw bats, of course, and bugs, and snakes sleeping, and frogs, and oh, we saw night monkeys. They were so cute. Yeah, the night monkeys, they were looking at us and we were looking at them, and our guide says, oh, they're going to be up here in a second, which is like, there they are. Anyway, so there is our night monkeys. You know, hard to see because it's night. But we saw them with our headlamps, so it was very exciting. And I'm being spotlighted. And the moon came through. And at night, we saw the night monkeys. And our guide says, these are night monkeys. And the girl next to me said, what is their real name? And he said, night monkeys. This went on. When we got back to our place, she actually looked it up, and they are indeed called night monkeys. We had just stepped past the night monkeys, and then we heard this sound. It was like water, like a waterfall, but it was coming from the trees, and it was the night monkeys. They were peeing. We had just a little bit to the side, we would got peed by the monkeys. It was hilarious. Which led us to coin the new phrase, if one is walking in the rainforest and here's a waterfall coming from the trees, move. At this point, we got super brave, and we turned off our headlamps. And we stood there in the rainforest in the dark. And we looked up, and we could see the night sky through the canopy of the trees. Little stars. I knew I would see animals in the rainforest. I just never thought I would see stars. We just sat there for a second and listened. And the sound of the cicadas and the grasshoppers were deafening. And Carol was standing next to me. He's a really, really tall guy. He kind of leans over to me and gently grabs my arm. I scream and jump a mile in the air, and then everybody else is screaming and jumping and turning their headlamps on, and Carol's just laughing his face off. He thought it was the funniest thing. Ooh, we were super brave. And so we decided to walk to the edge of the forest where we could see the river. And it was incredible. We could see the entire stars reflected back through the river. each star reflecting up to itself as it shone down. We looked up and the stars were as far as you could see. The horizon was the silhouette of the rainforest, and the river reflected all the stars. We could see the Milky Way. I wanted to take a picture so I could remember it. It didn't come out, so I made an artist rendering of it. There's the stars reflecting off the Milky Way and the trees. I expected to see a lot of things in the rainforest. I forgot about the stars. When I came home, I was happy to be home. I missed the electricity and warm showers, but I will always remember the monkeys and the stars. Thank you.